Hello, welcome back to Ever17 out of Infinity. I was in the conference room. In the middle of the table was a three-dimensional image of LeMMIH. I was staring at it and trying to come up with escape plans. At that point, I hadn't even hit upon a single one. Any plan would fall apart before I even got it fully developed because of my limited knowledge. But I didn't intend to give up. I thought if I could just find a starting point. I wanted to get back at you somehow. The door opened and somebody came in. Looking back, I saw that it was you. She had changed into her work uniform. Okay. The ribbon on her outfit shook rhythmically as she walked toward me. Are your clothes dry? Just looking. Well, all I've got is time on my hands. I lied to her. Okay then. Embarrassed, I couldn't tell her the truth. Enough about that. Aren't you going to sleep? How about that? Same here. Both. You laughed dryly as she said that. Are you going somewhere? Someplace in mind? Oh, this third eye thing again. The third eye. When the third eye opens, true wisdom is apparent and all becomes visible. The power of ancients, ultimate knowledge, proof of a transcendental state beyond that of normal people. The place that you led me was... You walked toward a stone gate which rose out of a dimly lit dome. Can I ask you a question before we go in? Why do the LeMMIH runes have something to do with the third eye? What? I get it. No, not really. I was just thinking that you don't seem the type to be governed by random illogical thoughts. Yeah. You turned your gaze to the ruins. Because she was conducting research in the name of LeMMIH. One theory has it that the people of LeMMIH were giant apes that were 12 feet tall. They had walnut-colored skin. There were no differences between males and females. They laid eggs and communicated via telepathy, and they had a third eye in the back of their heads. Telepathy and the third eye. This has something to do with the third perspective. Drawing on the idea that our vertebrates' predecessors had three eyes, so the ancients, especially the LeMMIHians, may well have been the races that mastered the use of this power. And based on the facts discovered, I conclude... Whoa. I wish you'd tell me more about the third eye. You and I crossed through the gate and entered the ruins. It was darker inside, and the pathways were interwoven like a maze. The lighting was surreal, with dim lights in some areas and bluish white lights elsewhere. Occasionally a hologram of some deep water fish would shine into view. The ruins were also slightly flooded with water, which had the effect of making them appear more like ruins at the bottom of the ocean. I wondered how far we had walked. Finally, we came to an open space kind of like an auditorium. The room had a high ceiling. There were rock pillars, called obelisks, scattered around the area. A few of them were broken, collapsed, or crumbling. Looking closely, I saw that a mock relief was carved into the wall. As I absent-mindedly stared at the wall, you walked over to one of the collapsed obelisks and sat down, hugging your knees. Sun? Ooh, that reminded me that I had seen an image of a sun disk in the relief on the wall. You reverted to speaking like an employee, which she was, and started giving me an explanation of the place. You paused and shrugged. I see. As I sat down next to you, I nodded. I wondered if she was talking about the continent that had sunk to the bottom of the ocean, or maybe she had meant us. What do you mean? Oh. I shook my head. Huh? What are you talking about? Shigumi's words flashed through my mind. I didn't know what to say to her. It all made sense to me. Actually, I had been feeling the same thing. The reason that I hadn't been able to, or didn't realize it, was maybe that I didn't want to face up to reality. I sneaked a look at Yu's face. She clutched her knees and turned her helpless-looking gaze to the water's surface. Her lips were a bluish color, and it wasn't all the fault of the light. Yu was always more upbeat than everyone around her. She was a powerful presence for me. But right then, she seemed very small and fragile. No matter how tough she acted, Yu was still just a girl at heart. It had been a quick 3 days since the accident. It only made sense that she would be feeling the strain. Swallowed into the deep, dark ocean, we had lost the warm spring sun. I couldn't let her go on like this. I had to cheer her up somehow. That was how I felt deep in my heart. So there's a traitor here. I just don't know who it is. I think we'll be saved. Of course, it's, I wanted to say premonition, but I couldn't. Saying it wouldn't work. You could see through a lie. I thought about it. The third perspective. The third eye. True wisdom. Omnipotent, all-seeing vision. The power to make light shine once again. I thought that if I only had that. But it didn't exist. It couldn't possibly. It's not a premonition or a guess. At the very least. It's a promise.
約束?
Yeah, I promise. At least I hoped it was. That it was a promise that would materialize. Oh, that we would be able to get you out of there. I held up my hand as if taking an oath. I approached you, but then she spoke.
もし約束破ったら?
I won't. I'll see that you're safe.
絶対に 1% たりともないの?
There's not even a 0.00000000000000001% possibility. I pointed my finger at my heart and promised you.
こんな自信過剰な約束聞いたこともないけど
I crossed my heart and hoped to die.
仕方ない付き合ってあげるとしますか
And stick a needle in my eye. I won't break my word to you. Right. The next day after breakfast, you and I went to the security office. She tried to access the computer network again. I planned to stay and see her through it. But access denied, invalid username or password. It seemed like she still couldn't get past the security.
まさに万事休すね
Yu's shoulders slumped dejectedly. Isn't there anything else you can do?
あとはシステムをクラックして無理やり侵入するかレミの側からプロテクトを解除してもらうか
Why don't you ask Sara? You stopped talking and looked down. Don't you want to find out what happened to your father?
それは
You have a right to know. There could be information being kept from you. So are you going to try to get at the truth, or are you just going to let these doubts nag you forever? So what do you want to do? In the end, it's up to you, so you should do what you want to do. You stared at her fingers, and then she looked at the display. Finally, her eyes drifted to the ceiling. You gave a nod after a while.
そうねマヨには悪いけど力を貸してもらおうか
Good. She wasn't wrong. She didn't need to feel intimidated. Alright, I'll go ask her for you. With those energetic words, I bounded out of the security room. As I was sprinting down the corridor. Wait a second, where's Sara anyway? Finally, I realized something. I should have checked on the monitor in the security office. But I thought I'd look stupid going all the way back again. I thought I might ask Sora. But then I saw Sara cutting across the far corridor. I immediately went after her. Sara went into the infirmary. I went in after her. Sara!
びっくりした
Sara jumped, startled. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to surprise you.
もう眠いんだから勘弁してよ身も心もクタクタなんだから
Sara's haggard expression told the same story. I remembered the fight the day before with Tsugumi. She had probably had a sleepless night. Were you thinking of going to sleep now?
うん
Oh.
何か不都合でもあるの言ってみ
Actually, I explained the details to Sara. I bet Yu's father gone missing. and about her working at LeMMIH to find clues about his fate, that her search was being blocked by some protective mechanism in Lemmy.
そんな事情があったんだ。知らなかったよ。
Yeah, well, you and I can't figure it out alone.
で、私に何をしてほしいと?
Well, we were hoping you could try taking out Lemmy's security so that we can get into the network.
プロテクト破りね。
I feel bad asking when you're so tired, but could you do it for her?
いいよ。
If you wouldn't mind, she'd really...
いいよって言ったんだけど。
Really?
なんせナッキュ先輩のためだからね。協力しないわけにはいかないっしょ。
Thanks. I grabbed Sarah's hand and shouted happily. I was so happy I could have jumped for joy. I did actually jump. I was sure that things would go fine now.
ちょっと。なんで少年がそんなに喜ぶの?
Huh?
私は先輩に協力するって言ったけど、それって少年にはあまり関係ないことでしょ? ビタ一文の得にもならないわけじゃん。なのに、どうしてそんなに一生懸命なのよ?
Well, of course I'm happy. You's a good friend of mine. Sarah stared at me suspiciously. What? Sarah patted me on the back.
そういうことでござったか。
Well, I mean, we need to get out of here. Sarah shot me a sly grin. I had a bad feeling about the whole thing. Don't go imagining anything stupid. I'm just...
あいや、またれい。言われずとも分かってるでござるよ。あとのことはすべて拙者にお任せあれ。
What the heck is Sarah talking about? Well, you was waiting, so we fast get going. I started heading for the security office, pulling Sarah's hand, but it ended up being my arm that got yanked. Whoa! I lost my balance and stumbled forward, leaning on Sarah. Without missing a beat, she grabbed my left thumb and squeezed it tight. She drew close to me and whispered in my ear.
本当はちょっと悔しいんだよ。悔しいんだけど。相手が少年だから許してあげる。
As she spoke, she pushed me away and slapped me on the back. I was getting more and more confused.
さて、それでは始めるとしますか。
Sarah sat in the chair, popped her knuckles, and faced the keyboard.
本当にごめんね。そんなに気にしないでくださいよ。水臭いな。大船に乗ったつもりで安心しててください。
Hopefully you can help, Sarah.
任せて。
Sarah started tapping away on the keyboard. A number of windows opened up on the screen.
まずはパスワードのダッシュから試してみようかな。
Her typing was fast and rhythmical. Finally, a list of files came up. She opened one of the files. She opened the search window and started pouring through files.
あれ？ないな。この系統の OS ならこのファイルの中に保存されてるはずなんだけど。
What are you looking for?
パスワードのハッシュ値。
What's that?
ユーザーがパスワードを設定する際に不可逆性を持った関数により生成されるアルファベットおよび数値により構成される文字列のこと。
What?
ハッシュさえ見つかってしまえば、簡単にパスワードを特定できるんだけどね。例えば単語をハッシュした結果を大量に保存しておいて、それとパスワードファイルに保存されたハッシュ値を比較することにより。
Can't you make it easier to understand?
簡単に言っちゃえばパスワードの指紋みたいなものかな。ほら、指紋から元の人物を再現できないけど人物を特定することは可能でしょ。指紋と同じようにハッシュはオリジナルの特徴を確実に反映するの。だからその変換パターンからオリジナルの文字列を割り出していき。
I still don't get it. I think it's just beyond me. Sorry to bug you. I wiped away sweat and walked a short distance from Sarah. You watched Sarah as she leaned against a wall. I headed over to her.
もしかしたらルート権限でしかアクセスできないファイルに格納されているのかな。 仮に見つかったとしてもランダムで組み替えられる方式かもしれないし、となると別の方法を。
Sarah mumbled to herself as she worked. Occasionally, Sarah would fiddle with her ribbon or tap her fingers on the desk, so it didn't seem that she was having much luck. I wonder if this will work.
多分ね。
But no matter how good Sarah is, this isn't like a
マヨ
contest.
が優勝したコンテストだって波のゲーム大会じゃないの。その時彼女が解読した暗号は68ビットもの暗号コードだったのよ。
That's big. I'm not really sure how incredible that is.
暗号強度っていうのはパスワードを暗号化する時の鍵の長さのこと。これが長ければ長いほどその暗号は解析が困難だってことになるの。まだちょっとピンとこないかな。じゃあ実例を挙げてみるけど、あるパスワードを1ビットの鍵で暗号化すると、その暗号は全部で2通りの変換が考えられるの。例えるなら E という文字は1ビットの鍵では0と1のどちらかに暗号化されちゃうってことね。これが2ビットの鍵になると暗号の可能性は2倍の4通りになる。さっきの例なら E の文字は00011011のどれかに変換されるってこと。これが3ビットの鍵になるとどうなると思う？
Yeah. Let's see. There are 2 ways for 1 bit and 4 ways for 2 bits, so 8 ways? Are there 8 ways?
ピンポーン、正解。3ビット鍵では E の暗号パターンは000010101101101110111の計8通りとなる。このように暗号の鍵が1ビット長くなるごとに暗号パターンの数は倍になっていくの。4ビット鍵なら16通り、5ビット鍵なら32通り。さて、これがもし一気に68ビット鍵まで長くなったとしたら
68 is really big though. A 6-bit would be 64. A 7-bit would be 128, and 8-bit would be 256. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you'd be able to find that. Used in the calculations on the security office calculator.
2.951409×10の20乗通りもの暗号パターンが考えられるの。
That's really big.
7905兆1793億
2 sextillion.
5856通り。
Oh.
これは海を含めた地球上のどこかに落ちてる髪の毛を探してるようなものよ。マヨが解読したのはそんな暗号なの。でもね、マヨの本当にすごいのはそんなことじゃなくて、それを解読した時の方法。
The method?
パスワードを探し出す方法としては、数学的に何やら難しい計算をしながら解いていく方法と、全ての鍵をしらみつぶしに組み合わせて解いていく方法の2種類があるの。前者の方法はまだ有効なアルゴリズムが見つかってないらしくて、だから普通の人は後者の方法を取らざるを得ないの。それも大会に参加する世界中のコンピューターを一度に使ってね。じゃないと計算に何十万年もかかってしまうと言われてるの。だけどね、マヨは違った。
She did.
そう、そのまさかよ。マヨは独自のアルゴリズムを組んで前者、数学的に何やら難しい計算をしながら解いていく方法を取ったの。そして大会参加後わずか7日でパスワードを探し出した。
It was too incredible. It didn't seem real. I should have been surprised, but I wasn't. Oh, she's so smart. It was just too hard to imagine that the girl in front of me could do that. Sarah, what if the world... Are you... In the world, I think, right? Yeah. See, Sarah pounded her fist on the console. It's not working?
見ればわかるでしょ。いちいち聞かないで。
Don't worry about it. I'm sorry for asking you to do this. You to do this.
ねえ、ちょっと休憩しようか。コーヒー入れたの。
You had made coffee for the three of us.
はい、どうぞ、マヨ。
You handed Sarah her coffee.
うわー、どうもありがとうございます、先輩。
Sarah's coffee came with milk in the sugar bowl. Hey, didn't you say that you weren't supposed to put anything in a coffee?
いいの、いいの。マヨだけは特別なんだから。そうそう。ねえ。
Hey, that's not fair.
あ、差別なんて人聞き悪い。うむうむ。区別と言ってほしいでござるな。
Leave it to you to change the rules. Not wanting to start an argument, I silently put milk and sugar in my coffee. Yep. After a bit, you asked Sarah.
で、調子はどうなの、マヨ。今のところ、これです。
Sarah turned her palms out, letting them face the ceiling. She meant she had zilch.
そっか。
No.
マヨの腕をもってしても手強いのね。はっきり言って尋常じゃないですよ、ここのセキュリティ。ただファイアウォールが張られてるだけじゃなくて、稼働しているほとんどのデーモンに手が加えられてます。
Firewall Dame what, huh?
ファイアウォールはネットワーク内に知らない人が侵入してこないようにするための仕組みのこと。デーモンっていうのは OS 上でメモリに常駐してサーバーの
Okay, I get it. Thanks. That's it. I'm not asking any more questions. Sarah nodded. Normally this kind of OS software is put together using C, so I tried to attack it using DOS, but it's been reinforced. I'm having trouble finding a hole on the security. The conversation, mostly Sarah talking, might have well been some alien language.
そこまで来ると、私にもよくわかんないんだけど、ますますうさんくさくなってきたわね、ここのデータベース。一体ライブリーはそこまでして何を守ってるのかしら。そうですね、異常です。たかが一企業のセキュリティとは思えない。
I suddenly remembered that on the first day, Sora had told me the reason why LeMMIH built LeMMIH, but there here was a corporate secret. I wondered if it could be related to this.
あ、そうだ。マヨがコンテストで暗号を解読したプログラム使えないかな。
Oh, that's an idea.
それでルート権限のパスワードが分かれば。それは無理ですよ。なんで？一応ここの暗号強度の当たりをつけてみたんです。いくつだったと思います？
What?
136ビットです。
What? Yeah, it's pretty big. Okay. That's double the one she did, except exponential though. The number of possible patterns was 2 to the 136 power. Oh, jeez. Sarah held out her fist and opened it up. Boom! She was right. LeMMIH was going to go in 3 days. You was depressed. We can't solve it soon enough. Isn't there anything else you can try? A ray of hope returned to Yu's eyes.
私が今まで試したのは成功法的なクラッキングなんです。
There's no such thing as orthodox cracking, is there? Sarah ignored me and went on talking.
残された手はある意味技術を必要としないクラッキング、ソーシャルエンジニアリングってやつです。
What's that?
簡単に言えば社会的な行為を利用した情報入手方法なんだけど、例えば
Sarah stopped as if it were hard to say.
例えば攻撃対象のサーバーを運営している会社の人間を騙してパスワードの情報を入手するとか。
You get it by tricking someone?
空を騙すってこと？
Sarah nodded. There's no way we could do it. Even if we could trick Sora.
もちろん私だってできればそんなことしたくないよ。空の立場からすれば 社外費を漏らすわけにはいかないわけだし。私は強制なんかしない。でも不法に情報を入手するってのはそういうことなんだよ。
I don't really want to have to do that
先
either.
輩がその情報をどうしても手に入れる必要があるなら手段を選んでなんかいられないの。それだけは分かってほしい。
I couldn't think of anything to say. We were using a computer to do it, so it didn't seem real, but we were actually trying to deceive someone to get information. That was exactly what we were trying to do.
最大の敵は人間である。あ、これよくお母さんが言ってたの。そういう意味では私たちこそがレミの中に紛れ込んだバグなのかもしれないね。
You stared straight at Sara.
マヨの言う通りだと思う。けどそれだけはできない。空を騙すなんて方法は私には取れない。たとえそれでお父さんの手がかりが途絶えてしまうとしてもね。マヨだけに辛い思いさせて申し訳ないんだけど、もう少しだけ別の方法を探してみましょう。
Sara looked down, but then lifted her face, grinning broadly.
わかりました。先輩がそういうのなら。
Sara faced the keyboard again. Sara.
大丈夫。いくら強固なセキュリティだって所詮は人間が作ったものなんだから、同じ人間の私に解けないはずないよ。どこかにきっと弱点があるはず。
Sara began typing away. Just then, the room was bathed in a bright light. We covered our eyes. After a bit, our eyes got used to it. I squinted against the light, and there was Sora. Sora was floating in the air, surrounded by a bright ring of light. She was looking down at us from above. She was wearing a white-looking cape that fanned out like a pair of wings. She looked like an angel descending from heaven. But what is it, Sora, showing up all of a sudden? Oh, Sora? Something wasn't right.
レミの一部に異常なトラフィックが出ていたので様子を見に来たのですが、皆さん何をやっておられるのですか？
Sora spoke politely, but her eyes were like ice. We should have expected her to see through us. But why did she seem completely different than the Sora we were
答え
used
てく
to?
ださい。
見てわからない？レミをクラックしてるの。
Sara answered coolly.
皆さんはそれが何を意味するのか分かってやっているのですか？
Sora, please listen to what we have to say first. Yu's father was a member of the team that made Lemmy. In other words, he's your father too, Sora. But he disappeared 17 years ago. At the same time, there was an accident, the cause of which was unclear here. Something about the whole thing is shady. But the accident, both the accident and the disappearance of Yu's father, we think that there is probably something behind the scenes connecting them. So Yu's trying to get the facts about her dad. She is looking for the truth.
お願い、ソラ。あなたに協力してなんて言わない。でもせめて見逃してほしいの。
Sora.
そうですか。そのようなことが田中さんのお父様が。
ソラ。
私もできることなら力をお貸ししたい。できることなら。
Sora closed her eyes for a while, and then opened them.
皆さんのご意向は分かりました。ですが私にはレミを部外者から守るという使命があります。むしろ皆さんを止めなければならない。そのように作られているのです。私一人ではどうすることもできない。命令に従うしかない。
But that's not.
私は一体どうしたら。
Sora's shoulders shook, and she had a pained look on her
大丈
face.
夫だよ。
Huh?
大丈夫。なんとかなると思う。
Work out somehow. Sara, what are you trying to do?
今のプログラムに従う限り私たちに邪魔をしなければならない。でもソラ自身はそれを望んでない。だったらソラが望む行動が取れるようにプログラムを書き換えてやればいいってわけよ。
そのようなことができるのですか？
多分ね。もちろん空がそれを願うならだけど。
Okay. Sora's shoulders quivered slightly. Sora, are you scared?
はい、少し。いえ、とてもです。
やっぱりやめようよ。私のわがままでこれ以上みんなに迷惑かけられないよ。先輩は黙ってて。もうこれはナッキュ先輩だけの問題じゃないんです。さあソラ、判断して。
Sora? I'd like you to listen to me and then decide after you hear what I've got to say. Sora, you said it yourself.
私は皆さんと同じではありませんが、皆さんと同じでありたいと思っています。
You wanted to exist in the same way that we do, and we want the same thing. That is all I wanted to say. Finally, Sora lifted her face and focused her eyes on Sara.
わかりました。松永さん、よろしくお願いします。
良いでござる。マヨ、くれぐれも気をつけてね。お願いだから空を傷つけないで。平気でござるよ。拙者を信頼してくだされ。
Sara typed on the keyboard.
じゃあ悪いけど、
I hope this goes well.
心配しないで。レントゲンを取るみたいなものだから。
Sara continued working as we watched. As we watched her deft hands, Sora's tense expression began to relax. It was then that Sora began to suffer. What's the matter?
やめて、やめてください。やめて、やめて、やめて。
Sora?
システムスキャニングエラー。自律神経回路内に不正な侵入を確認。
What happened?
そんなの私だってわからないよ。まずったな。スキャンに引っかかったっぽい。
What's that mean?
空を管理してる検査プログラムにクラッキングが発見されたってこと。
いけない。皆さん、今すぐ逃げてください。このままでは私は皆さんに危害を加えてしまうかもしれない。逃げて、早く。侵入経路判明。もう間に合わない。
Sora held out her hands.
これより侵入者の排除を実行します。
Our surroundings suddenly changed. We were no longer in the security office. We were in the middle of a roiling ocean. The water swirled loudly. What is this? It appeared as if we were about to be sucked in and our bodies torn to pieces. I tried to shout, but water continued to rush into my lungs and I couldn't breathe. What is happening? You shouted this. When I closed my eyes, the surrounding apocalyptic scenery seemed like a lie. The ocean continued to groan in my ears. It was all the work of a generated hologram. So it was no longer scary.
無駄です。これ以上はやめて。
The next instant, a high-frequency scream rang out in my mind. My head hurt like it might split open. Ah! Unable to withstand it, I took out the voice converters that I thought were causing the pain, but the sound went on.
ですから無駄だと申し上げたんです。部屋の空間から音は発せられているんです。レミューの中にいる限り逃れることはできません。
Please stop. The pain was so intense that we were rolling around on the floor.
私は 私は警告します。おとなしくレミから手を引きなさい。直ちに中止するのです。
嫌よ。
お願いです、松永さん。もう結構ですから中止してください。
嫌だって言ってるでしょ。空のためにも先輩のためにも私自身のためにも私はやらなきゃいけないの。ライプリヒなんかに負けてらんないのよ。
Sarah continued pecking at the keyboard.
最終警告。直ちに中止しなさい。これ以上続けるというのなら命の保証はできません。
どこかにきっとセキュリティの手薄な箇所があるはずなのに。松永さん、何よ。私は絶対に手をつかないからね。
そうではありません。私はこれから自分のセキュリティの一部を解放します。そこを狙って大量のデータを送り込んでください。
つまりオーバーフローを起こせってこと？
はい、それで私のシステムは暴走するはずです。結果どうなるか分かりませんが、うまくいけばシステムを書き換える隙ができるかもしれません。
分かった、お願い。
私の力では解放できるのはほんのわずかな時間だけです。タイミングを見逃さないでください。チャンスは一度。17分の1秒ほどの一瞬。
了解。
では行きます。エラー発生。タイプ14エラー。今です。
いやー、ごめん。
セキュリティの一部に
Sarah pushed the enter key.
障害が発見され、エラー発生。タイプ7エラー。扱える数値の限界を超えようとしています。
やった、成功。
The high frequency attack stopped. Sora struggled in pain. Finally, her body began trembling. Sora!
空の様子が。
エラー発生。タイプ9エラー。アプリケーションによってゼロによる助産が行われました。
暴走が始まる。
わからなくなっていく。私は茜ヶ崎空、レミュー開発部 SE 主任代理。レミューの運行を補佐する者。
A part of the console sparked.
私はレミューを訪れる皆様をご案内する者。私はレミューとそこに依存する人々の安全を保障する者。レミューにいる全てを守る者。レミューの全てを守護する者。私は一体誰なの？
見失わないで。あなたは空よ。私たちと一緒の時間を過ごしてきた茜ヶ崎空なの。
私は皆さんと。エラー発生。タイプ34エラー。予期しない命令が実行されようとしています。
Sora started suffering even more. Whoa, what the? Then something surprising happened. Sora split in two. Sora is two. Oh.
なんてこと。
it wasn't an illusion. Of course, given that it was all RSD generated, there is no guarantee that it was always an illusion. At least I was not the only one that saw it. You and Sara seemed to be seeing it too. The new Sora attacked, grabbing the old Sora by the throat. The two of them struggled equally. The two Soras. It was like an apple split into two pieces. No, it was like an apple reproduced in whole. Cell division. I figured that this was the result of overloading Lenny. Whoa.
今ならそちらでシステムを書き換えることができます。システムに致命的なエラーが発生、データ破損の恐れあり、直ちに復旧を30秒の待機のうちエマージェンシーリセット。早くレミがシステムを復旧するためにリセットをかけようとしています。その前に早く。
オッケー、もう少しの辛抱だからね、ソラ。
Sara typed the keys at a furious speed. All we could do is stand helplessly and watch.
リセットまであと17秒。松永さん、まだですか？
もうちょい。
Sara continued pounding in code as she wiped the sweat from her brow.
あと7秒。松永さん、できた。
Sara stood as if she were ejected from her chair.
リセットまであと3秒。
いざ、科学日報。同点開始。
Sara struck the keyboard with her palm. The room was flooded with bright light. The two of Sora's images began to overlap. The two fused into one. At the same time, the system underwent an emergency reset. At that instant, we were all swallowed into pitch blackness. Darkness and silence, colors and sound lost. Lemmy temporarily ceased functioning. And then, exactly 170 seconds later, Lemmy rebooted. The lights and other machinery restarted. The fan of the computer gave off a quiet whirring sound. The display on the wall came online all at once. There was a surge of letters rushing across the monitor, the system's startup screen, and it finally switched to automatic operating mode. And then Sora appeared again before us. She seemed to burst upon us, floating in the air, but at the same time had a solid presence. She closed her eyes and it looked as if she were embracing herself as she descended. Sora slowly opened her eyes. Did it work? Saying that, she smiled broadly. Do you know who we are? Do you remember us? I pointed at myself.
はい、少年さん。それに田中さんと松永さんですよね。今ここにはいませんが、倉成さんと小町さんのことももちろん存じていますよ。
よかった。私たちの知ってる空だよ。
はい。
ねえソラ、これからレミの C レベルデータを調べたいんだけど、手伝ってくれる？
もちろんです。微力ながらご協力させていただきます。
Sora nodded slightly as she spoke. Hey, there's something I would like to know. Sara, what in the world did you do to rewrite the system?
実際には何も変えてないの。私は命令の優先順位を入れ替えるパッチを当てただけ。
そうです。私の処理ルーチンそのものは全く変化していません。ですが、レミを守るという義務よりも皆さんのお役に立つという項目の方が優先されるようになったのです。
I don't really understand, but you mean that you no longer have to stop us?
そういうことです。それが皆さんのためになることであれば、私はレミの内部ですらお見せします。
それじゃあ早速調査開始といきますか。
そうですね。
Hey, you, what's wrong? You was hunched over and quiet. She didn't look well.
ありがとね。ソラ、マヨ、私のためにこんなに苦労してくれて。
And then Sara said,
らしくないですよ、先輩。目的のためなら手段を選ばない。いつものナッキュ先輩でいてくださいってば。
Sarah waved her words away casually with the palm of her hand. I agree with her completely. She's right. Don't lose sight of yourself.
はい、私もそう思います。
それに少年もサンキューね。
Oh, okay. Huh? Me? I didn't do anything.
何言ってんの。マヨを説得してくれたのは少年でしょ。
それに私が決断できたのも少年さんの言葉のおかげなんですよ。
You told me that all you hope for in the same thing. What the? You all hope for the same thing, yes. Okay.
少年さんの一言で私は決意することができたのです。
I see, so that's what happened. I felt a bit embarrassed.
よーし、そんじゃ締めっぽいのはここまでにして。シーラベールソー。おー。
And so we started the investigation into Yu's father. The only clue that we had to start off our investigation was the name of Yu's father, Yoichi Tanaka. Actually, the work going on beneath the surface of LeMMI's exterior was all done by Sora. It looked like the system still couldn't be accessed by normal means. Sara was worn out, but she kept on typing. Nearly half an hour had passed since Sora had disappeared inside LeMMI. Sora suddenly appeared from inside the console. Are you finished?
はい、私のわかる範囲内でしか調べられませんでしたが。
大義でござった。で、何かつかめた？
It didn't work?
いえ、いろいろな事実が判明しました。
なんだ、だったら教えてよ、もったいぶらずにさ。空？
Sora stared straight at Yu. Her serious expression made Yu wrinkle her brow. It didn't look like the kind of situation suitable for light talk or jokes. I wondered what Sora could have found.
田中さん、落ち着いて聞いてくださいね。あなたのお父様、田中陽一様はすでにお亡くなりになっている可能性があります。
Already died. Yeah.
お父さんは死んだ？
はい。今から
34 years.
年前に。
34 years ago.
ちょっと待って。34年前ってどういうこと？私まだ18歳なんだよ。今から18年前に生まれたんだよ。なのにお父さんが34年前に死んだなんて、そんなバカなこと。
Yeah, what you're saying, Sora, just doesn't match the
とにか
facts.
く落ち着いて聞いてください。私はまだ断定したわけではありません。可能性があると申し上げただけです。私はまず田中さんのお父様に関するデータを検索しようと試みました。しかし田中陽一なる人物が存在した記録はこのレミオ内のデータベースには一切保存されておりませんでした。つまり同姓同名の人物さえ存在しないということです。
So are you saying that Yu's father wasn't here?
そんなはず。でもそれは限られた範囲内のことでしょ。空でさえアクセスすることのできない領域があるって前に聞いたことがあるけど。
ええ、もちろんそうです。私はレミの末端に位置するプログラムに過ぎません。セキュリティレベルの高いデータには一切触れることができないのです。
だったらそこに田中陽一という人の記録も。
Sora continued responding to Sarah's question.
その可能性はもちろん否定できません。しかし社内名簿にも経理関係の書類にもローカルエリアネットワーク上において取り交わされたあらゆるメッセージのログにも田中陽一なる記述は発見されなかったのです。
そんなはずないって。私のお父さんは確かにここレミューで働いてたんだから。それによ、もしも仮にお父さんがここに行ったことがなかったとしても、だからってお父さんが死んだことにはならないでしょ。
はい。
はいじゃないでしょうが。どっからそんな仮説が導 引き出されたのかちゃんと説明してよ。落ち着いてください、先輩。
Sara grabbed Yu as she went to grab Sora. Yu was on the verge of losing reason and getting carried away by her emotions.
順を追ってご説明申し上げます。ですがその前に一つお尋ねしてもよろしいでしょうか。失礼ですが、田中さん、お父様がレミューで働いていたというお話はどこからお聞きになったのでしょうか。
How is that even possible?
お父様は田中さんが1歳の時に失踪なされた。その話が事実だとすれば、田中さんにはお父様の記憶は残っていないはず。そうではないのですか。
34 years ago, but she's 18.
私にはお父さんの記憶がない。
This is really
一緒に遊ん
strange.
だ記憶も抱き上げてもらった記憶も。でも1歳の時までお父さんは絶対に私のそばにいたの。その時の写真やムービーは残ってるし、絶対にいたの。お母さんだってそう言ってたんだもん。間違いないのよ。
やはりそうでしたか。そのお母様に関することなのですが、
どうしたの？なんで黙るの？
それが
何？
とても申し上げがたいことで。
申し上げがたいって、今まで散々申し上げがたいことをつらつらと言ってきたじゃない。ねえ、教えて。お母さんがどうしたの？
よろしいのですね。ではお伝えいたします。田中さんのお母様、田中幸恵様も今から15年前にやはりお亡くなり
15
になられ
years
た。
ago. She's dead too.
何言ってるのよ、サラ。いい加減にしてよ。バカなことあるわけないじゃない。
私の方からはこれ以上申し上げることはできません。ディスプレイに詳細な資料を表示しておきました。そちらをご覧になってください。
You stumbled toward the display, sitting down in front of it. Sara and I looked at the display from over her shoulder. On the screen was a record from the company LAM. It was a notice of death. There was a file about the office procedures related to Yuki Tanaka's death. There was a log of messages exchanged among employees about the notice of her death, and a funeral notice. The screen kept changing from one image to the next. The next thing that was uploaded to the server read, July 2nd, 2019. So this was on July 2nd, 2019, 15 years ago. At the end of the files, the following appeared. It was a record of an online conversation between employee Mr. A in the personal section of the General Affairs Division and Mrs. B in the second section of the Research Division. But it really was a shock. What was? I mean about Yuki Tanaka. Oh, yeah. Yuki was always so nice to me. That's right, she was your boss, right? Do you know the cause of death? TB? TF? Wow. That again. It's the same as how her husband died. Her husband? What? Oh, you mean you didn't know? Is that so? But we really shouldn't talk about this at the company. But why? Oh, well, why? I'll tell you about later. But Yoichi died 19 years ago, right? That's why we can't talk about it. I'm serious. And she had a child, the poor thing. She had a daughter, right? I feel so sorry for her. I checked to see when the log had been saved. The date read February 7, 2019. This is very weird. As she shouted this, Yu fled from the security office. Sara followed after her. Sora and I remained behind.
お分かりになりましたでしょうか。すでにお伝えしたように、田中陽一という方のお名前は私の知り得る範囲内でのデータベースには全く存在しませんでした。しかし今から15年前に交わされたと思われるこの A 氏 B 氏のチャットのログには、田中幸恵様の旦那様とおぼしき陽一さんなる人物の名が確かに記載されております。文脈から判断するに、陽一さんは当時から遡ること19年前、すなわち今から34年前に亡くなられたものと推測されます。
But the name Yoichi Tanaka doesn't appear in any of the other data. Why is it only here?
これも推測の範囲内を出ませんが、おそらく何らかの理由により田中陽一さんに関する全ての記録は抹消されたものと思われます。このログの14行目と15行目を今一度ご確認ください。
The flow of the conversation seems unnatural.
はい。本来ならば14行目と15行目の間には何らかの会話文が挿入されていたはずなのです。
So you mean that someone erased part of it?
A 氏の発言からもそのことが伺えます。
But Yuichi's name was left in B's comments. Oh, I see. What's an umlaut? What? It was because it was in English, right? I'll bet that when you were looking for Yuichi's name, the computer automatically searched and only looked for his name, erasing everything it found in Japanese. But the search missed B's comments because they were in English, because Yuichi's name is spelled in English.
いいえ、残念ながら。
Well, what's an umlaut? I've never heard of that. What?
削除を行った人間はそこまで愚かではありません。削除対象には陽一というローマ字表記も含まれていたと思われます。
But what about this one?
少年さん、B さんの発言をよく見てください。彼女は普通とは少し異なる書き方をしていませんか？
Is it because the little O? Oh, the O has a O in it.
はい、これはウムラウトと申しまして、ゲルマ
Oh,
ン語、
is that what it
主
is?
にドイツ語で母音
Accent,
A
something.
U O が後続の
Is that what
I
that's called?
または
Huh.
E に引かれて、それに近づいた音に変わるときに使用される記号なのです。
So you're saying that because this included an umlaut,
私もそう考えたので、B さんのその他の発言についても調べてみま
wow,
した。
so that actually plays
彼
into
女は
this.
チャットやメー
Interesting.
ルなど親しい間でやり取りするような砕けた形式の文章では、アルファベットの A、U、O をウムラウトにして記述する癖があったようです。
It seems to be a style particular to her.
だよねをだよねと書いたり、なのさをなのさと書いたりする方をしばしばお見受けしますが、これもその類と考えて差し支えないでしょう。
So it's like that. So as she spoke, Sora pulled up samples of
それはそうと、
correspondences.
田中さん大丈夫でしょうか？
Well, Sara went after her, but I'm still kind of worried
や
about
は
her.
りお教えしない方が良かったのでしょうか？
No, you did right. No matter what the facts are, that is what you wanted to know, and you told her. You knows that. She is tough. She can take it.
よくご存知なのですね。
No, not really. My face started to flush. I started to fidget uncomfortably.
様子を見てこられた方がいいのではないですか？
Yeah, I will.
では私はまだ仕事が途中でしたので、これで失礼します。
Oh, Sora, wait, there's one more thing.
はい？何か？
I just wanted to say thanks for everything. Sora's cheeks seemed to redden just a bit, and she smiled
私として
shyly.
は当然のことをしたまでです。それに皆さんが喜んでくれるのなら、それは私自身にとっても至上の喜びとなるのですよ。
With the ultimate smile plastered on her face, Sora disappeared into the display. I left the now empty security office and went in search of you and the others. Oh, I hope this... I hope we can do more to find Yu's father. This is going to be really hard, isn't it? Bye!